Hey there you guys, welcome back. Today we are going to do a video on plants that are successful for me right now, or plants that have really caught my eye. Some of these I've had for a really long time, some of them are relatively new, but nonetheless, they're making me happy. So maybe if you want, maybe next video, let me know down below if you want to see some of my plant fails for the month, or not necessarily just plant fails, but things that aren't doing well that I'm trying to revive. That might be an interesting video as well, and maybe I could get some help from you. So anyway, first off here, I've got my Psychopsis. This is the Psychopsis Papilio? I'm not 100% sure. It has these beautiful strap-like leaves. They're covered in dust. This plant gets, I'm not going to say neglected, I do water it on a fairly regular basis, but it does dry out completely. I'll see if maybe I can get some B-roll of some of these, just so you can see a better close-up of the plants. So these ones are a sequential bloomer, and that just means that you don't remove the flower spike when it's finished flowering. It will produce another bud from the tip again. So it'll just keep going and going and going, and they can last years. So some people 5 years, 6 years, sometimes longer, depending on how you care for your plant. I don't know why this one is doing so well. This one has 5 flowering active stalks right now. Well, this one has 3 flowers at the moment, as you can see, as they're dancing around. I love the way that this thing is. I've had this plant for, I don't know, I want to say 10 years, but I don't think it's been that long, maybe 8 or 9. And as you can see, the flowers are so cool. And it's one of those plants that I love because there's always a chance of a flower because the spikes are there. If there's no spike, you're probably not going to have a flower for a really long time. But this one, I was surprised. The other day I was looking in and I noticed that there were 2 flower spikes starting, 2 new ones. And then at further glance, I noticed that there are 3. So I don't know whether you're able to see from this angle, but I'll try, like I said, I'll try to get some B-roll. And I've got 1, 2, and then there's a third one. Where did I see that? Oh, it's taller. Right here by my hand. And I was so excited to see that because now I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flower spikes. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh, so cool as they're dancing around. So I'm just going to put this plant down. I don't want to break anything. They're so tall. They're probably about 3 feet tall, the flower spikes. Another one, I don't know that I'm growing it well, but it's alive and it's doing, I think it's really, really cute. I think it's amazing. This is, I've just rinsed it off. I thought I saw a little bit of mealybug on there. They come and go. It could have been diatomaceous earth. I sprayed some diatomaceous earth on some of the plants just to see if that would combat some mealybug or scale or whatever. Jury's still out. I don't know whether it did anything but make a mess. So this one, I believe, I'm not sure the Latin name, but I think it's a Peperomia Red Twist. Let me know down in the comment section below what it actually is. And I believe that the actual structure of this plant, or the growth habit of this plant, is upright. I don't know that it's trailing like this, but I could be wrong. If it's trailing, I'm doing a great job. If it's supposed to be upright, it probably needs more light. But it gets pretty good light under grow lights. And it's doing well. I let this guy dry out between waterings and water it pretty thoroughly. I've been using liquid dirt recently, and jury's out on it. I really enjoy using it. It's a plant food that's all organic, so it's just really, really easy to mix. So I really enjoy that. So yeah. This is my little Peperomia. It's doing so good. I love the red undersides of the leaves. I'm not sure whether it's going to come up, but I'll see if I can get some, like I said, B-roll of this stuff. I haven't done B-roll, and I think that it might be a benefit to the channel so you can get a little close up. So another plant that is super fun for me, I've had this one for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. I'm not sure. This is Syningia, Peachy Propeller. It's a really interesting plant. When I first got it, it was very small, obviously. I can't remember whether I got it as a cutting or whether I got it as a small single growth plant, but it was just really wonky because it would grow up and then it would kind of flop over and it just never looked really pretty. But as it ages, it's really coming into its own, and it's starting to get a little form going on, and it's not so offensive looking. I think it's really, really cute. And it flowers pretty profusely, and they seem almost constant, kind of like an African violet. They're related to an African violet in the same family. The flowers look nothing like an African violet, but they kind of look like a little alien. There's like a bract and then a flower that comes out of the bract. I believe that that's what I'm seeing. I'll get a close-up of it. And yeah, it's super cute. I let this dry out almost completely between waterings. The growth will die back, but then it goes through a dormancy. Sometimes the dormancy is longer than others, but usually as one dies back, we get a new growth coming from the base. So it's always usually in some state of growth and restoration, I guess. But they're really, really interesting plants to grow. The Syningias in general are pretty cool. You could really go down a rabbit hole with these guys. There's micro Syningias, there's miniature Syningias, and there's the regular size ones, and then there's some really, really, really tall ones. So they're really, really cool plants, and if you want to start collecting these kind of things, you could really go crazy. Some of them are caudex forming. This one doesn't have a caudex, but as you can see in here, they're just kind of growing from a central point, but it's not a swollen central point per se. Another one in the Gesneriad family, this one is a fun one. I think I need to give it a drink. It's looking a little floppy. This one is a Primula Tobacco, and this one's a really, really interesting one. I don't know whether you're able to see. I'll try to get a close-up. But the flower is so dark purple. It's really dark. It's so striking to look at, like you could just get lost in it. It's so pretty. But the interesting thing about this plant is the foliage. The foliage, well, and the flower. The flower is really cool, but the flower is very small. It's got like a sticky texture, kind of like a pinguicula. It's not a carnivorous plant. It's not there to catch any bugs, but when you touch it, you stick to it, and it's a weird feeling. And the smell of it smells like tea. It's so pretty. If you're a tea lover, I think that this plant is a must-have. It's something that if you brush against it, there's just that beautiful light aroma of tea. It's really, really nice. So every time I clean it off or just care for it, I get that aroma, and it's very calming. It's nice. The only thing is the stickiness of the leaf. That's kind of off-putting because now I've got to go wash my hands. It's not too bad. It does go away, but it's still something that's tacky and it's weird. So it's a really interesting plant, and I've had this one for a long time. I think I've had it for the same amount of time as I've had this guy, but maybe a little longer. I'm not sure. We used to go to the Gesneriad shows and sales annually, but it hasn't happened for a while. So, next here on the list, let's do this one. So next one on the list, I can't even show it in the frame. This is the Philodendron Goldie, or the Thamatophyllum sprucianum. For one, it has produced aerial roots that just go for days. This aerial root is probably at least 4 feet long, and then the leaves here, look at those leaves. Those leaves are super cool. It's doing really, really well downstairs in the grow room. This leaf here is starting to yellow. I think I'm trying to really play with my watering. I'm trying not to water too much. I'm trying to let my my aeroids dry down. I'm trying to get this in camera. There's another one. Trying to let them dry down between waterings, but it's really a slippery slope. So I need to try to figure things out, and I'm working on it. If I let them dry down too much, they start to yellow their leaves, but if I don't let them dry down enough, they rot. So this one here is in a super small pot, as you can see, for the size of the plant. I think it's a 6-inch, but it's a shallower pot. So it dries out at least once a week, and I've been playing with it to see if I can let it go longer, and that's why I've gotten some some yellowing leaves. So it will get repotted soon enough. I want it in a clay pot. The clay pot's going to be a little bit deeper, and it's a really, really fun plant. So many of my aroids are going to go outside in a shadier location this summer. I'm going to see where I can put them, and yeah, hopefully the little bit better light and the good airflow, and also higher humidity outside. Around here it's about 80% humidity most days, maybe 70-80%. It gets very humid here in the summer. So I'm hoping they'll enjoy that and give them a kickstart that they need, because my philodendron group has been really struggling as of late. I'm really trying, and it's been very, very hard. Let me try to get these aerial roots over here without breaking. I hope I don't step on the roots. Okay, so next here, I hope this isn't going to be too long. This is just a basic. It's an Amaryllis. This has flowered 3 times. It has had 3 spikes all at different times. It flowered once around Christmas, and then it flowered again a few months ago, and then it was producing leaves, and then it gave me this flower spike again. So I'm really, really happy about how this has turned out. This one is not one that I purchased this year. This is one that I've had for a few years, and I guess I did something right, because 3 flower spikes over a period of time. I actually liked it spaced out, not having all 3 all at once. It really has prolonged the season of this. We're into May now, and I'm still enjoying these flowers. The bulb size has gone down, and I'm going to say a fair bit, but not significantly. Now that it's flowering, I've noticed the leaves yellowing a little bit, but that's not too bad. It's looking so pretty though. It's just recently started open this week. Hopefully I can get this back up here. And another on the Amaryllis bandwagon, this one is doing so well. I love this one. This is the Naranja, I think that's what it is. Yeah, Naranja. It's the orange variety. Keep the tag here. I need to make an actual tag. But I love the structure of this leaf. The leaf isn't too long, and it's really a sturdy leaf. This one gets, I'm going to say, a northeast exposure, so it's not super bright light, but it's good light, and it's right in the window. So this one is doing phenomenal. I love the structure of it. It's just very pleasing to look at. They're very sturdy leaves, and I hope that this plant continues to grow like this. I think that this is a beautiful house plant to have. Sometimes the Amaryllis get really, really long and lanky leaves that just fall over, and they're really unsightly over time. But this one's pretty cool. Okay, so this is one that I thought I'd never really make. Ficus. This one is Ficus Audrey. I think it's bengalensis, I believe is the Latin name. Ficus bengalensis, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it has done really, really well. I bought this last summer, I believe. Last summer, last spring, I can't remember. And it has put on all kinds of new growth. I think it was in a 4-inch pot, I think. 4 or 6-inch pot. I think it was 4. And I think it was only about this tall. I think it had maybe 6 leaves, maybe. And it's done beautifully. It's recently started to branch, as you can see. And the only thing here is I don't know what caused this. This is a weird, kind of like a half moon of rot that's happened. It hasn't grown past the vein. It's just a half a leaf that died off. All the other leaves are just fine, and yeah, it's doing so good. I moved it from the grow room into the front window here. It's a west exposure. No, not west. South. Yeah, I guess a south window, maybe a southwest. And I have a really big overhang from the front porch. So in the summertime, it doesn't get really bright light. In the wintertime, it gets super light. So as the sun is lower in the sky. And it seems to be doing okay. It really loved the grow room under the grow lights, but it's still doing its thing upstairs. So it's one of those ficus that I seem to be okay with. it seems to be growing okay. So hopefully that continues. Another one that's growing okay for me is Ficus altissima. That one is doing well as well. It's like this one, but has a kind of a two-tone green leaf. I should have brought one up. It's not looking as good as this one, but it's doing okay. It's putting out new growth. The leaves, the lower leaves are starting to brown up, but it's not doing so bad. So Ficus, I can't wait for this one to get bigger. It would look nice as a floor plant in the corner over here. Maybe I'll get some Soltech Solution pendant lights to go down over top of the plant when it finds that corner. And we're getting close to the end here, I think. Well, let's just honorable mention this this philodendron. This is an imperial green because it's back here. It's been touch and go. Me and philodendrons. I put all my philodendrons for the most part into clay pots, and it's been easier to let them dry out after monitoring them. I really am trying to pay attention to my watering because I find that when I'm interested over the winter time, I want to be with my plants all the time, and I find that I'm watering more. In the summertime, things do better because I forget because I'm outside all the time, and my houseplants get completely neglected. So they're going to like that time. But this one, when it was in plastic, it was rotting. The roots were, I don't know, the growth was browning, and I wasn't getting leaves. But it seems to be leveling off, and my leaves are holding now. This one was starting to yellow. Where are you? This one was starting to yellow, but it's stopped. So fingers crossed that we've got this under control, and soon enough we'll have some nice lush philodendrons. There we go. And last but not least, let's go into the Calatheas. There's not a lot of Calatheas that are doing well for me. But this one here, I can't remember the scientific name, but the jungle velvet, the Wolwitzii or something? Wolwitzii? I hope I'm getting that right. Please, in the comment section down below, let me know. I've been putting, or I put a couple of my my Calatheas into clay pots. We've got this little pot hanger. It's so cute. A little frog. I've got them in a clay pot, and I went a little bit bigger to keep a little bit of moisture in, because clay will wick the water away. So my plants are going to stay moist but not wet, and I really amended the soil with perlite so that it didn't compact really quickly. And they seem to be responding really well. I think I'm going to be moving more of my Calathea into this kind of setup, because they seem to be doing just fine. This one, there's a little bit of browning of the leaf. It's a weird situation where these particular ones are that I'm going to show you. They're in my main living room in front of our gas fireplace, and normally the humidity on the day-to-day is about 50%, maybe 60%. And then when the fireplace turns on, it drops substantially, and they're kind of right in front. So they've been doing super good considering, and this summertime, hopefully they do just fine with the higher humidity naturally. But we do have air conditioning, so we'll see how that treats it. But this new growth is super strong, and we've got a new leaf developing. And when I got it, it was just the one stem, but now we've got the new plant developing. It's doing so well. I'm super excited about this. The leaves are just so nice to touch. I love to feel them. I'm not being too rough with them. I don't wanna hurt them, but that slight fuzz, it's like petting a dog. It's so nice. So that's this one, the jungle velvet. And then the other one that we have. This one, the leaves are a little bit unsightly. I don't know. The leaves are good. I'm okay with the patterning on the plant in general. I don't notice the browning of the leaves when I glance at the plant. I notice it when I take a close-up look, just because it's all spotty in general. But this is the rattlesnake Calathea, the Calathea Lancifolia, and it is doing so good. I think I've had this plant for 2 years now. It was in a 4-inch pot before I moved it into the clay pot, so I think it's a 6-inch pot now. So I really want this plant to get bigger. I think in a 4-inch pot it would stay small and compact, but I'm hoping that as I increase the pot size, the roots are going to develop more and the leaf size is going to increase over time. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I hope that that will happen. And I've been monitoring these for spider mites because other Calatheas have had spider mite issues, and once they got spider mites, it was done. I have a Zebrina downstairs that is recouping. It is just barely coming through the soil surface again, but once it got spider mites, it was downhill so fast. So you might as well just toss them in the garbage. But these ones haven't had it. Touch wood. It's been a lucky go. These ones have been, this Lancifolia has been a real treat to grow, and I love watching it in the evening. It folds up pretty substantially, and then it relaxes during the day. And then I've got another Lancifolia that sits on my kitchen table. Let me pull it over. I need to put it into a clay pot, but it's still in a 4-inch pot inside of a 4.5-inch pot. I have it in a decorative pot on the kitchen table, but it is also doing beautiful. Actually, this one here, it could be the fireplace that is causing a lot of the browning of the leaves, because this one sits between that living room and the kitchen. And as you can see, the leaves have less damage, and I've had this plant for the same amount of time, and it's doing beautifully. I really like this plant. So yeah, that has been all of the things. Well, I'm sure there's more. There's a lot of plants around here, but these ones have been the ones that I've been really watching, and they've been making me happy, seeing them do their thing. And yeah. Let me know if you want to see some of my plant failures. I don't really want to show those, but it might be a fun one to learn from. Anyway, show me what you're growing. I'd love to know what plants are really making you happy right now. It's a cyclical thing. Every month there seems to be a different one, because as they grow, you focus on those, and then the other ones kind of take the back burner. So what is making you happy right now? Anyway, until next time, you guys, happy growing.